And then I guess that the thing that I'm thinking of at the moment is when, excuse me, Elon Musk talked about how children or how young women are taught right now to fear pregnancy, and how that needs to change. Like, the possibility of having a child is wonderful. The possibility of becoming a mother, becoming a father is a wonderful thing. It's a good thing. And the more that society can shift and see new life and see family life as a wonderful opportunity and a good thing, the better off we're going to be. So.
Thank you. And my last question would be, what advice would you give to young women who feel pressure to delay or forgo motherhood in sake of their career?
Yeah, I think that is a very important thing to encourage young women to think about. I think that there's a lot of pressure on young women to delay marriage and to delay having children. Now it is, and I think the major thing there is that women need to think about it. They need to think about it earlier than they currently think about it. And I think that older women should be encouraging young women to think about that question while they are younger rather than in retrospect. So I think that the more that we emphasize what a great gift it is to be a mother, the better off we'll be. And I'm hesitating here in forming an answer because I know that there are a lot of young women who would love to be mothers who have not found a spouse yet, or young women, young wives who would love to have a child and for some reason are not able to have a child. They're dealing with infertility, or they're dealing with financial circumstances, or some other reason that's compelling them to wait to have a child, or they're unable to have a child for some reason. So it's hard to say as a blanket rule, you should get married as soon as possible and you should have children as soon as possible, because there are a variety of life circumstances that could impact why a young woman isn't married or why a young woman doesn't have a child. But as a general rule, I think the important advice to give to a young woman who's considering higher education is to empower her by telling her, of course, you can definitely get an additional degree if you want to. Like, you should be exploring all of the possibilities, all the ways that you can use the talents and the gifts that God has given you to do the best of your ability. But you should at the same time be discerning if you're called to get married. Like, keep your eyes open and pursue using your gifts, but remain very open and very aware that if you're called to be a mom, if you're called to be a wife and a mom, don't shut out that possibility because you're so focused on your career that you make that the prime goal of your life. And so I think it just calls for discernment. I think it calls for discernment and maturity, and for mature conversations with young women at an earlier point than I think we're perhaps comfortable with having that conversation. I think that conversation should probably happen in high school rather than after college. I think that's important to tell young women, to tell young girls, to tell your daughters or nieces, or the young women in your life are coming to you for advice, to say, you have the great opportunity to be a mother someday, and prepare for that. Prepare for that in a practical and specific way, as a near possibility, rather than when I'm 35 and I've got my career in good shape and I have a house and I have this much money and I have it's better to be open earlier to what God is calling you and what He might have planned for you earlier in your life. So
yes, thank you so much for sharing your valuable perspective with us, and I really appreciate sharing your time with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.